Is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, closet swing traders. Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Let me get some trading view ready to go. We do have a news-filled day today, so be prepared for craziness. Be prepared for take a look. I think Emily posted in Slack all the different time frames of some of the events that have the potential to move the markets today. So keep an eye out on that. We got you guys still piling in. Good morning, Albert. We got Bill here bright and early. Good morning. We got Cedric, Christopher, Eric, Jenny's in the house. Greg K is in the house. Gerline, good morning. We got GW, Jason, King. We got Jay, of course, with us. We got Jennifer, Jesse, good morning. We got Joe, Ken, Michael, Quantre, and Sylvie. And we got Will. We got my people on YouTube. We got local missions. We got Richard Jet. Good morning. Oh, man, we got the squadron coming out today. Super pumped. All right, let's go with, again, any of what I say now could be drastically changed by the end of the day because if there's, we do currently still technically have a smaller term bullish trend, right? So we still have the pullbacks still being bought up. We do have a little bit of a double top on the SPY. However, even this top did create a new higher high. So if we do pivot here, this would be new lower or higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. If we start to break down, especially under, I even have an alert out there for a different time frame, but if we could break under really essentially 390, if we start breaking that 390 level, that would be a next new lower high to set us off. Otherwise, right now, I have to still stick in the overall bullish direction of things for now. And I'll say that with I'm not super excited for because now you have pretty much essentially 1, 2, 3 different down days in a row as far as VPOT goes. So in a bigger picture, I'm still a little bit more bullish, smaller term. I think the news today might have the ability to move the market. So we'll see what is happening as the day progresses. I think it just either way have to be a little bit quick today as far as taking profits. This is so this is the SPY hourly chart. Big, massive drop, bearish engulfing candle. If we were to measure out this one candle, we're probably we actually did get higher than the 618 yesterday. Let's see. This would be so at some point on this one wick for whatever reason, and that was a retest. We got shot down, but that was cutting us through that 618. So we rejected that. We closed roughly at the 50% retracement. And I can see, even though I'm a little bit longer term, still bullish until we make that new lower low. I could definitely see us dropping, hitting that 50 and coming down here. This is a essentially horribly bearish looking candle still. If you guys know pennant patterns, so typically you have the pennant pattern here. And once you break, usually that center somewhere of that, typically where a good support is to do something like that. So if that is the case, and that's what's happening on this one, we pretty much did that already. So in a worst case, well, I think two options is what I'm looking for if I still want to remain somewhat bullish. Technically, we could get a little bit further. So we almost hit it down here, right? And I know this is not the straightest line ever, but close enough. We almost hit it, didn't quite. If we're looking at a wave count basis, we'd probably be looking for something. Let me draw this out a little bit. To me, this could be maybe a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I think we get that 5, right? So the 5 would be either double bottom. Maybe we make that new one lower low, get us a lot closer into that center of that pennant pattern. And that would be a very good, strong support. And then we look for potential bounce if we're going to stay bullish. And if not, again, if that doesn't hold, We start breaking at 390, then we actually are making new lower lows. So I don't know. It's going to be a probably pretty volatile day one way or the other. I think Friday still is going to be more important than today in general. But today we do have the beige book coming out. We do have Jerome Powell. We had some key numbers earlier today. We've also had some earnings come out. I think Build-A-Bear put out some. I think Wayfair either had earnings. I believe they had earnings today. If not, they put out a report saying pretty much Black Friday was good. So some things might have some individual news. Otherwise, the market's going to be in one of those shaky places. Here's the 1 hour right below the 10. At least we're above the V. We're smack in the middle between yesterday's VPOC and Monday's VPOC. So honestly, it could go either way. Probably a little bit more pressure to the downside immediately at open. Getting rejected off that. At least looking for, I mean, again, in a worst case, bounce up of 395.08. Just kind of retest that again would be pretty ideal. So what I'm looking for is probably some kind of early morning drop sell off. If the drop picks up, then it's probably creating that wave 5, which could either be double bottom or we do. I think most likely we take one lower dip. Not a guaranteed, obviously, but either way, that wave 5 I think has to start coming in. So probably gonna be a little bit tight. I think Jerome Powell is 130 today, if I'm not mistaken. So I think he starts talking somewhere around 130 today. And again, Bullard came out on Monday. Bullard's usually a little bit more dovish on the market, and he was saying some kind of hawkish things, right? They're still putting a lot of pressure. He's basically saying, we hope the markets aren't getting a little too cheerful around this holiday season based on what they think we're going to do, because our goal ultimately at the end of the day is to get that 2%. And we are going to keep on beating up assets until we have 2%. So they are still messaging, at least in a worst case, bearish. All right. Let's see the Qs, same situation. So a little bit of a gap up again from close. You have a little bit more room on this one to the bullish direction before even that 10 EMA comes in. And then we do have all these now essentially untested VPOCs that we'll probably have to start getting tested at some point, 50% retraces, things like that. But wave count wise, I'm guessing we're in the same boat. Wave count wise, this could be maybe a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe we do have that 5 wave count. But we'll have to see on that one. We did break out of that. So I have that down trend line, which is at least on a smaller time frame looking a little bit more accurate. Otherwise, I'd have to extend this one out a little bit. Let me see. This trend line should probably be a little bit more for accuracy. Yeah, so if that's our trend line, we didn't actually quite break out yet. But at open, we might retest and then bounce. So if that's the case, if this trend line is a little bit more accurate, we'd probably be looking at one kind of retest to that VPOC and then look for, probably doesn't have to happen today, but 285. 285 would be I think we need a really actually good news on Jerome Powell's part. And again, I don't know if he's talked to Santa, if he's got the Christmas bag with him, if he's going to give out gifts to the investors or traders. I don't know, but right now Qs are just kind of still hanging out. But maybe we see a little bit of a light, and this is a pullback, and then we make that future move. We will see on that. Amazon, we've got George is in the house. What's up, George? 92.40. So no movement whatsoever. Oh, there we go. So we're down 2 cents now. So relatively flat on Amazon, also inside day. Not expecting a whole bunch of anything. Delta had some, so I tried to do a little bit of a day trade yesterday on this one, and I was looking for it right as the market was coming in. You had some kind of strong resistance up here and trying to take this thing down. I did get out for a very, very small loss on it. I was able to just drop those on a smaller time frame, drop those stops down a little bit, especially it was hitting, I think it was 6, right? 34.6. It was pretty much essentially bouncing off this every time it got down there. I was moving stops very close to break even, but very, very strong resistance. Everything looked good in terms of that resistance. We had big bearish engulfing candles come in. Everything you want to see on the breakdown. The entire market started to break, and this was holding in this range. And then as soon as the market started to bounce a little bit, Delta went nuts, just absolutely crazy. So still some bullish momentum into that one. Right now we're gapping down. We are gapping below a previous pivot. This one could give back if it drops a little bit more. There's not a lot of volume in this area for support until probably about 34.34. So if you do want to trade that one in a bearish direction, I'm gonna guess we might be on the right side of those 10 EMAs, extended and non-extended. So we might be on the non-extended bearish side of things, and well, either way, it's an inside day, so we're probably not going to get to play it under that rule. But this would be probably looking for a quick fade. I would love to see maybe a green candle that we could take a break under, especially getting in maybe at like 34.47 would be an interesting spot if a green candle comes in first. And then we could probably ride this one down to about 34.34. That would be a decent setup, decent trade. We got Woodshed Williams throwing in his short-term view. So you're already in this one, right, Woody? Mm-hmm. I'm seeing a little bullish divergence. No? Definitely at the top of that trend line. So you're kind of just playing that channel back and forth. I would say you have some, be careful in this. You have some bullish divergence, which it looks like you've already discovered. While playing the channel. Yeah, I get it. So selling there, good move, selling there, good move, selling there. So far, good move. And again, I'm kind of expecting that little bit of a pullback. And then it's okay, what happens from that point type scenario. Obviously this, or maybe we continue down in this trend, but what time frame is this on? This is the hourly. Okay. All right, so Woodshed playing that. If anybody wants to hop in with him, I get it. Keep in mind, 1:30. I think we might get the beige book earlier, which will affect the markets. Doesn't overpower. I think it gets printed like 8 times a year. It shouldn't. I don't know how much weight that the Fed will put onto the beige book, honestly. I don't know if it's like a massive, like that's how it's like the golden book for them to make decisions. I think they have some other reports that they'll typically use first that will weigh heavier. But at the end of the day, it will put a little bit of weight into the market as far as their decision goes. So the market will be watching for that beige book. So the beige book is coming out after Jerome. That's an interesting time. Because I think Jerome, if anything's going to move the market today, I think it's Jerome Powell over the beige book. But then you got Jerome Powell coming out first, definitely going to be a little bit more influential in the market. And then the beige book comes out. I don't know. That's either going to be a kick you when you're down type moment, or if we get some kind of rally from Jerome, starts to muddle a little. I don't know. That's kind of weird. It will be both as he's taking questions and doing interviews. It comes out at one. Yeah, unless he's doing a short. I don't know. That's strange. He'll be talking at 2 when the beige book drops. Ooh. I don't know why, but I get a bad feeling about that one. Now you gotta. I don't know how quick the reporters are to pick up on the beige book and start asking questions based off of it. I almost kind of hope that they are not informed about beige book or ask questions or have their media outlets start texting questions to ask based on the beige books, because now you're going to throw Jerome Powell into a live situation with unprepped material. I don't know. I got a bad feeling about that one, but we'll see what happens. You're going to get Jerome Powell live, just beads of sweat rolling down his face. Yeah, I didn't prep for this one. Oh, I went to public speaking class. They didn't tell me about beige book. It's crazy. Apple has a little bit of a gap up, at least on the hourly. It is a retest gap, so having that little bit of a fade for people who are buying. I'm sorry, this is a 5-minute chart. Oops. All right, so hourly still a retest gap. We are above one of the developing VPOCs. So would love to see on this one some kind of a pullback red candle, maybe take a break. Be careful, even if you're going bullish on this one. You still have that 10 EMA just going to smack you in the face. Obviously, the trend is down. I would say more or less short rips on it if possible. Kind of can't do anything with that one out of the gate. We got NVIDIA as it's just an inside day. NVIDIA has been looking a little bit extra weak, and I think we get some of that continued weakness. So the next stop, what I would be looking for on NVIDIA is 154.93. We clearly have downtrends. Let me see if I get one more VPOC. I believe I do. So there's 1, 2, 3. We've got that 10 dropping in on our face. I mean, we could probably put a $2 stop on this one if I could buy it. Well, it'll be less than that. If I could get it somewhere around 156.46, that's at least the zone. If I throw the alert, it's going to go off red open anyway. But that's the spot where I'd be looking for some kind of 10 EMA setup on a 3-minute. Good volume came in yesterday, massive drop, stayed pretty much flat-ish. And if we could break down that, again, first, or honestly, I think we could probably get to about 153.38, which again could happen today. Let me just see where we are as in terms of Fibonacci. So the fibs puts us, we're right at that 618. So we're kind of, all of yesterday we dropped to that 618 and held it pretty good. So I think now if we start to actually break this down a little bit, the first immediate target would be 153.33. If we get through that, target would really be 152.15. So it's got some ways to go. Yeah, major critical support. Watching NVIDIA, out of all of them so far, I'd be a little bit more bearish on that. Again, the only, at least for 10 EMA, we're going to be inside. So we're going to be inside day. We'd have to wait for this thing to break. Like this is not what I want to happen, but this is what would have to happen if we take this play. We'd have to wait for some kind of drop immediately here. Create that new low. Then we have to get some kind of strong balance. Look for this. Then we have to wait for this to hopefully come in a little bit more to tighten our stops up. And then we re-roll. So we're going to need a lot to get a good 10 EMA play out, I would assume, unless because the other issue with NVIDIA right now is if we start to break this and then we see the 10 EMA come in somewhere around here, our target, at least initially, is not that far away. So risk to reward wise, as a day trader, I'm not loving it. I'm not loving what would have to occur for me to get into this trade, but we'll see how it plays out. But yeah, still bearish, and I do agree. We're at kind of a critical level on that one. Not the best looking open. And again, we still have a lot of news from China in terms of lockdowns and protests and all that stuff. All of these chips, for the most part, is made in China. I think the Intel, I mean the play on chips would actually be Intel if you are concerned about China continuing with shutdowns and just unsettled protest riots, things like that might happen in China. Intel would actually be the play, as they have huge investments building out in the US. And that probably goes with a lot of supply chains are all based in, not all based, but I would say a good portion of supply chains have some ties to China and the Chinese market. So again, if you are fearful of that, if you're thinking we probably start moving into a different direction and start diversifying some of those manufacturing plants, you'd have to start looking at other markets like US. I think Mexico is in the running as well. But I know Intel is investing heavily into US plants. Matt says, I read something about Amazon making their own chips. I know Apple is making their own chips, I believe, but again, that's China. Even if Amazon makes their own chips, the question is, where are they making their own chips? Just because Amazon makes it doesn't mean it's the US. Most likely it's still China. So we'll have to see on that. We got Tesla. Everyone's trying to jump in the chip game. Tesla, a little bit of a gap up inside day. So again, nothing too really attractive so far out of the gate. This is right at the 10 EMA. We're going to have probably very strong resistance around 182.72. And starting to break. I was watching this candle very closely yesterday on the hourly. This is a decent looking bear trap that came in. So here's our breakdown of this candle, which is these wicks right here. We got saved, a little bit of a doji-ish, making some kind of a move, but even that could do something like this too. So we have lower highs. Technically we have lower lows, but we do have a little trap, and we're just honestly just sideways chop at this point. Wait till Tesla start making their own chips. That's gonna be crazy. All right, we got 6 more minutes left. Give me a second, but any tickers that you want to see in the chat, just throw them in there. I'll be right back in 1 second. We'll do like Kramer's lightning round. DJ's lightning rounds. All right, we got Neo. Matt says they're making a phone. He flirted with the idea of making a phone, but he's been flirting with the idea of making a phone for a while for Tesla. So we'll see. We'll see that, and that would only really put in motion if Twitter gets banned off of Apple. So we'll see if Apple wants to play that game. Nice little gap up on Neo. We are trending bullish. Let me flip this over to a daily candle real quick. Nice little gap and go. Technically, good little bounce off of there as well. So this one probably has some room. Targets on it would be about, at least initial targets, 1144, and then maybe we could get to 1149. I think they did partner. I don't think they merged, but I think they partnered with another company, and people are taking that little bit of a bullish move. There's a good push up, nice little S curve. Look for continuation, but what I would probably expect, and we'll see what this one wants to do, but I think we can get probably to that 1144, 1145 zone, longer term pullback. And then if you are bullish on Neo, there's your move. So just watch out for resistance on that one. On the Tesla phone, but it was clickbait. Yeah, I think he's been putting that out for a while. CRM. They had earnings today. Not sure if it came out yet, but if it did, nothing has happened with the stock. unless it's after hours. If it comes out after hours, I can see that. A lot of times you'll see some early morning volatility with a lot of these things, and then you probably play along with the overall market. But to some extent, day trading wise, not so great. I think CRM, I like CRM. So everything I say here is about to be very biased. But I think they do beat on earnings. I don't think many companies have switched from CRM. I do like a lot of the suite of products that they have. You're still seeing some decent business to business earnings beat. And I think they could pull it out and beat. I mean, if they do, this thing's got a potential decent run in it. I mean, even just the high of this VPOC, that's 163. And then down to this one's about 144. So you're risking about $5 to hit about 10, what, $12, $13. So not bad risk reward actually on that. I just like CRM in general. I think I don't think they really have to invest that much into. I believe they also raised prices this quarter too, if I'm not mistaken. AMC, I don't know. I haven't been to Wall Street Bets in a minute, so I don't know if the apes are pumping this one today or not. Let's see. You're getting 2-cent move pre-market. You do have a little bit of a flag pattern on this one, so you have something to the aspect of this. We're still inside that flag. Wait for the break of. I would actually wait for the break in general. So something that the overall SPY looks like right now is this. So I'll wait for that break, retest, and then look if you're going to try to play that one bullish. But it's down a lot. It looks like we broke out of some longer term downtrends. Again, we got a strong move. Just consolidating at this point, a little bit of a flag pennant pattern. And yeah, I could definitely see a bullish move. This is going to be your high volume area, somewhere around 825. So I'd be looking probably to at least peel off some of those gains at that point. All right. Do we have any other tickers? GM and Square. All right, we got 2 minutes. GM and Square. Still kind of flat on GM, just kind of hanging out. We are above yesterday's VPOC. Both yesterday and right now where we're opening is inside day of this. This is technically a gap and go candle that just didn't really go yet. Be careful of this one. That yesterday was pretty much meaningless. Right now, at least at openings, meaningless. If you start to break down some of these numbers, this one should have some room. That could be inverse head, or that could be not inverse, but just head and shoulders. And Square. TSMC. They're Chinese company, aren't they? So we have Square 6240. Above, we got the bell ringing, still kind of inside. This could either be double bottom. If you start to break, you should have a lot more room to the downside on Square. Let's see what the overall market does. Unfortunately, all my friends on YouTube land, this is the time where I got to disconnect. But on the way out, make sure you guys hit that little notification bell. Also, that thumbs up. That means something to the algorithms. And just it really means something to me too. You know, it just makes me feel good about myself. So make sure you guys hit that thumbs up, that like button. If you have not already subscribed, make sure you do so. And at any time, you can check out reallifetrading.com and hang out with us every single day till 6 p.m. to cover all sorts of topics, swing trade rooms, day trade live, things like that. But you guys are awesome, man. We will catch you all tomorrow.